these are the whatever the source of the variation for any experiment is the that is the factor and the error over which you don't have any control, and this is caused due to by the uncontrollable factors. So for any experiment in the ANOVA table, there is a you have to find the sum of the squares and degree of the freedom and the mean square and the f value, and this f value decides that whether the factor has the influencer over the output or not. So first of all, each factor, and actually the variance that you are computing, it should be the that is the you have to find out the sum of its square, because suppose if you are going to, there are the sum data, and the variance is nothing that how much it is going to deviate from its mean value. Suppose if you have the uh, data is the 3, 4, 5, and these are the 3 samples, so you have calculated its mean value and how much this data is going to vary from its mean value. And if you look for the only the uh, mean value, the absolute value, it may be the positive or it may be the negative, and if you look for the overall, it may be the 0. In order to avoid that situation, you have to find its sum of square value, or you can say that you are going to find that standard deviation that you are finding, that is nothing, it is the square value from its deviation from its mean value. Why we have computed the square? Because sometime if you are looking for the only the absolute value, then it may be the negative, it may be the positive, or it may be the 0, and overall, if you look for the overall, it may be the 0, it may be the negative. So in order to avoid the negative or all things, you should compute the sum of square values. And degree of the freedom is that, suppose if you have the three levels, that is the 3, 4, 5, and if you look here for the its suppose if factor x has its 3 level 3, 4, 5, so degree of freedom is the 2, that is the level total number of the level minus 1. And if you have look in the kinematic also, you find that there is also the degree of freedom, and the degree of freedom that you can explain that अपने आप को छोड़ के बाकी से कितना इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हो. सपोज इफ यू लुक हियर दिस फैक्टर, that factor is the x and its level is the 3, so it can along its 4 and 5 it can be interacted to the two ways. So for the in order to determine the degree of the freedom, it is nothing, it is the how many levels of that factors minus 1. Similarly, if you look for the error, that is the n minus k, that is n is the total number of the observation. Suppose if the total number of the observation is the 10, then degree of the total degree of the freedom, total degree of the freedom is the 10 minus 1, that is the 9. And whatever the error that has come, it will become or you can in other way you can find out that total minus factor, this will give the error thing. ठीक है, अगर मेरे को सम ऑफ स्क्वायर फॉर द एरर फाइंड आउट करना है तो क्या करूंगा, एसएस टोटल फाइंड आउट करूंगा और फैक्टर का फाइंड आउट करूंगा, दोनों का डिफरेंस करूंगा, दैट इज द एरर. And mean square error is can be determined by the sum of square divided by degree of freedom for that factor. This will gives the mean square value for the factor and the error, and f value is that ratio of the factor to the error, and this f value determines that whether the factor has the significant effect over the output or not. So we can find out through a example. If you look for the 2k factorial design of the experiment, where k is the denotes the level, and here it is the k is the number of the factors, and here the level is the only 2. Suppose if you look here, the 2 factor is the temperature and the pressure, so it is the 2 to the power 2 factorial, and these pressure and the temperature varies to the 2 different level, low and high, for the both pressure and the temperature. And in the set of the experiment, they have find out the result, that is the yield of the chemical process. Suppose if you are taking the low level of the pressure, that is the, if you are taking the low value of the pressure and the low value of the temperature, then the yield will be the 40. Similarly, if you look for the low value of the pressure and the high value of the temperature, then the yield is the 43. And if you look for the high value of the pressure and the low value of the temperature, the yield is the 59. So this is the question that has been given, and you have to find that which factor is the influence of has a more influence over the yield or not. You have to find that which either the pressure or the temperature has a more effect over the yield. So in order to find out its effect, you have to compute the ANOVA table, and by the ANOVA table you can determine that which factor is the influential or which factor is the not influential. So this treatment can be explained in this ways, that A is the low and B is the low, and whatever the replicate, whatever the yield has been given, as I have explained, that if we have taken the low value of the pressure and the low value of the temperature, that is denoted by A, then yield is the 40. And similarly, you can represent in the tabular form. And if you look here, you can find that total yield is the 363. Second thing is that you can the levels can be represented in the various ways. It can be represented in the 0 times, or you can say that it is denoted by the plus minus sign, or it can be denoted as the low or the high level also. If you are considering the low level, then it should be denoted as the 0 or the minus, and if you are considering the high level, then it is denoted by the 1 and positive. Sometimes it is represented by 1 or 2. There are the various ways you can denote the levels, and this is the combination that has been given. If I have written as the 1, it means that factor A is at the low level and factor B is the low level. If I write B here, then what does it mean? Then whatever the factor B is at the high level and factor A is the low level. If I write here A, it means that factor A is the high level and factor B is the low level. And if it comes both A, B, then it means that both are at the high level. If you can explain in the pictorial representation here. If it is the, if you look here, this is the this line denotes for the temperature A, and this X is denoted for the pressure, or you can say that B. If you look here, from here to here, that is from low to high, and this line indicates that low to high. If I represent here 1 here, then it means that both the factors, that is the temperature and the pressure, both are at the low levels. If I represent here, what does it mean? That is AB, that is the both the input factors, that is the temperature and the pressure, is at the high level. If I look here, if I focus here the B, then it means that temperature is at the low level and the pressure is at the high level. So this is the different ways that the levels or the effect can be represented in the pictorial representation also. Or you can write here in the axis form also. This is the low level, minus minus, that is the plus, minus minus, this is the minus. So this can be represented in the tabular form also. So in order to, first we have to determine the effect of the factor. So in order to find out the effect of the factor A, that is the factor A, then you should find out that where is the factor A at the high level. फैक्टर जहां जहां पे हाई लेवल होगा उसको डिनोट करो, और जहां जहां पे लो लेवल होगा उसको डिनोट करो. देन यू कैन फाइंड आउट द इफेक्ट ऑफ द फैक्टर ए. दैट इज द ए एट द high level is this one, then average effect is the 1/29. Then this formula you can determine by the effect of A. Am I clear or not? Similarly, if you are going to find out the effect of B, then effect of B, then you have to find that what is the effect of B at the low level. Then if you look here in the table, B at the low level here and here, B at the low level here and here, so you can find out its effect at the low level, this one, and B at the higher level, what is its effect is this one, 113 and 80. This is at the higher level. So average effect is that if you look for the effect, that when the B is the high level minus when the B at the low level, that is the 113 plus 80 minus 93 or 77. So this is called as the effect of B also, and N is the replicate. If you have taken the 2 replicate, then N is the 2. Similarly, you can find the for the interaction effect. For the interaction effect, that is the combination of the A and the B. This is the interaction. So here AB is at the high level, and this here the number 4 is the high level, and number 2 and the number 3 is at the low level. So you can find out the average effect of the interaction also. Then similarly, if you look here, you can find out the interaction effect, and this is the contrast. If you look the contrast, it is nothing, it is the difference when the factor is at the high level minus when the factor is at the low level. You can say that when the factor is at the high level, if you look the look the factor for the factor A, when the factor is at its high level, you find here, and where it is the at the low level you find this combination. So here you look here that it will be the negative, and you look here it is the positive, and this is the negative. If either of the any factor is the negative, definitely its contrast or the interaction effect is also be the negative. So if you find out the effect for the A is the minus 4.25, effect of the B is the 5.75, and the effect of the AB is the minus 12.25. As per the, from this you can going to conclude that, suppose this is the Y is the yield, and coefficient of the value of the A is the minus 4.25, A plus 5.75 B and minus 12.25 AB. What does it means that this slope is come as the negative? The slope of the A is the negative. What does it means that whenever you are going to increase the value of A from low to high, definitely the yield is going to be decreased. ठीक है? ये नेगेटिव साइन क्या इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि जब हम A की वैल्यू लो से हाई की तरफ जाएंगे तो क्या होगा, हमारा जो यील्ड होगा इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिक्रीज. इफ यू आर गोइंग टू look the graph from for low to high, this is the low and this is the high, then if you are going to influence the effect of A, then it is going to be decreased. What does it mean? That whenever you are going to increase move to low to high, then the yield is going to be decreased. Similarly, if you look for the for the factor B, then what will happen? It has the positive sign. It suggests that if you are increasing the value of B, that is from low to high, then its yield is going to be increased. Am I clear or not? And third thing is that interaction is the minus 12.25. What does it indicate? It indicates that when you are going to increase the value of A from low to high, it results the yield at, it increases the yields when the factor B as its low level. Suppose if you are increasing the value of if you are moving the value from the low to high of A, then your crop yield is increased. कब होगा? जब फैक्टर B की वैल्यू लो पे होगी तभी वो इंक्रीज करेगा. अदरवाइज अगर हाई पे रहेगा तो क्या होगा? इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिक्रीज. क्लियर है? So this way, from this effect, you are going to conclude that by whether these factors are going to affect the output in which way. कैसे ये कैसे इफेक्ट कर रहा है यहाँ पे? अगर A की वैल्यू लो से अगर हाई जाएंगे तो आपका क्या होगा? आपकी यील्ड कम होगी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या है? स्लोप की वैल्यू माइनस साइन इंडिकेट है. जैसे जैसे आप A को बढ़ाओगे वैसे वैसे क्या होगा? डेफिनेटली योर yield is going to be this yield is going to be decreased. Similarly, अगर आप B की वैल्यू बाकी कांस्टेंट रखते हुए अगर आप B की वैल्यू बढ़ाओगे तो क्या होगा? डेफिनेटली आपकी yield जो होगी वो इंक्रीज होगी. लेकिन जब आप इंटरेक्शन का देखोगे तो इंटरेक्शन की वैल्यू कब इंक्रीज करेगी? इंटरेक्शन की वैल्यू इंक्रीज तब करेगी जब A की वैल्यू को मैं लो से अगर हाई बढ़ाता हूं तो B को मैं कहां फिक्स रखूं? B को मैं उसके कम वैल्यू पे फिक्स रखूंगा, तभी वो वैल्यू बढ़ेगी। अदरवाइज बी अगर हाई लेवल पे जाएगा तो यील्ड क्या होगा, यील्ड इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिक्रीज्ड। और आप इसको दूसरे वे में भी रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं कि अगर मैं बी को लो से हाई लेवल लेके जाऊंगा तो मेरी फैक्टर डिक्रीज कर, यील्ड जो है वो डिक्रीज करेगी। कब, जब फैक्टर ए इट्स हाई लेवल पे अपना होगा तब। दिस इज द वे यू कैन इंटरप्रेट द रिजल्ट। एम आई क्लियर और नॉट? Now you have to find the, you have to draw the ANOVA टेबल। अब हमें तो ये पता चल गया कि कौन सा फैक्टर कैसा इफेक्ट कर रहा है किस पे, आउटपुट पे। लेकिन अब ये जितने फैक्टर है, मतलब यहाँ पे जो दो फैक्टर हैं, ये दो फैक्टर में से कौन सा फैक्टर ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है आउटपुट पे, तो उसको डिटरमाइन के लिए हम क्या करते हैं, हम एनोवा टेबल की तरफ चलते हैं। और एनोवा टेबल की तरफ चलने से पहले हम उसका फॉर्मूला फाइंड आउट करते हैं, दैट इज द सम ऑफ स्क्वायर ऑफ द इफेक्ट। दैट इज द इफेक्ट का फाइंड आउट करने के लिए क्या होगा, दैट इज द कॉन्ट्रास्ट स्क्वायर बाय में it is, if it is look here, it is a 2k dividend, then n 2k, where n is the number of the replication and k is the number of the factors. Contrast क्या है, contrast is the difference when the factor is its high level and when it is that the low level. This is the, you can say the it is the value जब a कोई भी फैक्टर अपने हाई लेवल पे रहता है और अपने लो लेवल पे रहता है, तो उन दोनों में डिफरेंस जो होती है, दिस इज टर्म डिनोटेड एज द कॉन्ट्रास्ट। एंड इफ यू लुक हियर, इफ यू लुक फॉर द कॉन्ट्रास्ट ऑफ द सीए, यू हैव फाइंड आउट इट इज द -17। हम इसको स्क्वायर इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि हम इसका निगेटिव इन्फ्लुएंस को हटाना चाहते हैं। ठीक है, तो निगेटिव इन्फ्लुएंस हटाया, इसकी वैल्यू कितनी है, 36.125। फैक्टर बी की वैल्यू कितनी है, 66.125। इंट्रैक्शन की कितनी है, 300 प्लस 125। तो मेरे को टोटल का निकालना होगा। तो ये टोटल का क्या करेंगे, ये तीनों जोड़ देंगे, ये तीनों जोड़ देंगे तो टोटल निकल जाएगा। नहीं, टोटल इसलिए नहीं निकलेगा ये, क्योंकि कोई भी प्रोसेस होता है तो फैक्टर का इन्फ्लुएंस तो रहता ही रहता है, साथ में अनकंट्रोलेबल फैक्टर्स का भी रहता है जो हमको एरर डिफाइन करता है। जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था, वाइब्रेशन ऑफ द मशीन, दैट यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू कंट्रोल, आपका उस पर कंट्रोल नहीं है, तो उसके कारण भी आपके आउटपुट पे इंफ्लुएंस आया होगा। तो दैट एरर और दैट इंफ्लुएंस दैट हैज बीन generated by the vibration of the machine is denoted as the error. And if you are looking for the total sum of square, then factor effects and its interaction effect plus the error source also. ठीक है, तब एरर सोर्स तो हमें पता नहीं है, तो मेरे को टोटल्स का कैसे पता चलेगा। टोटल्स के लिए हमारे पास ये फॉर्मूला है। ये फॉर्मूला इट इज द सिंपलेस्ट वे टू रिप्रेजेंट, or you can also understand that this is the yijk is the if you look here, if you go in the table, just a second, if you look here in the table, that these are the outputs that you have achieved, so you should calculate its mean value. You should calculate its mean value, and whatever the mean value that suppose if the mean value is generated as the x, then this, if you are looking for this one, first one, suppose if you are looking for the first one and this is the mean value, then how much this value is different from its mean, and it can be denoted as, denoted by, or you can say that 40 minus mean, and in order to avoid the negative sign you just square it. That is in order to find the sum of square. So similarly you can find out the for the all the 8 combination 40 square from its mean value plus 37 minus x square till up to here. Clear है? This will gives the sum of square of the total. Am I clear or not? But here this is, I have written that this is the summation. If you look in the table, that is the if you look in the table, then it is the 40 square plus 37 square for all the till last one, and this CF is the total summation, that is the if you look here, that is the total sum is the 363 square and total number of the observation is the 8. So this is the CF value it will give. This formula is used because हर बार क्या होता है ना कि आप हर बार मीन वैल्यू से माइनस कर करके आप कैलकुलेट करते हो, तो क्या होता है तो कभी कभी मिस्टेक्स होने के चांसेस रहते हैं, इसीलिए वो गलत हो जाता है. तो हम क्या करते हैं कि हम उसको उस चीज को मैं सिंपलेस्ट वे में रिप्रेजेंट कर लेते हैं ऐसे, सारे जितने भी ऑब्जर्वेशन है उसके स्क्वायर माइनस द करेक्शन फैक्टर. करेक्शन फैक्टर क्या है? जो भी ऑब्जर्वेशन है उसको टोटल को आप सम कर लीजिए. जैसे 40, दिस 363 इज कम बाय 40 plus 37 till the last observation, and you just square it and divided by the total number of the observation. This will give the sum of square of the total. So if you look for the ANOVA table, the temperature is the 36.125, pressure is the 66.125, interaction is the 300.125, and total is the 461.875. Since it is the 461.875 and this, if you look here, you just combine it and minus from the total value, this will give the error value. This will give the error value. If you combine these factors as the source of the variation and minus from the total value, this will give the error sum of square. Now if you look for the degree of the freedom, since temperature is varied into the two levels, so degree of the freedom is the 2 minus 1, that is the 1, and the pressure is the 2 minus 1, 1, and the interaction is that, or the interaction is that temperature has the 1 into 1, so total number of degree of freedom is the 1 here for the interaction. Now if you look that overall experiment that you have taken, that is the total number of the observation is the 8. So 8 minus 1, that is the degree of freedom for the total degree of freedom is the 7. And total degree of freedom for the error is the 7 minus 1, 2, 3, that is the 4. 7 minus 3, that is the 4. Now if you find out the mean square error. Mean square error is that sum of square divided by my degree of freedom, that is the 36.125 divided by 1, that is the 36.125. Similarly for the pressure and for the interaction also, and for the error it is the 59.5 divided by 4, that will give the 14.875. Now you should find out the F value. F value is that mean square error divided by mean square of the error. So 36.125 divided by 14.875, it will give the 2.43. 66.125 divided by 14.875, it will give the 2.45. Similarly, it will give for the interaction also 20.18. Now this F value has been determined. So how can you conclude that this temperature, pressure or the interaction has a significant effect? So from the standard F table graph, you are going to find out the standard F table graph, you are going to find out the standard F value. Since it is that here, if you look for all the interaction and the pressure and the interaction or the all the two factors, the degree of the freedom is the 1. So you are going to look here as the table, from the F table, that here it has been written as the degree of freedom for the numerator. That is the, if you look for here, degree of the freedom for the factor, and the degree of the freedom from the denominator, here it has been represented as the error. So F14, that is the 1 is the degree of freedom for the factor is the 1, and 4 is the degree of freedom for the error. The 1 corresponding to this 4, you are going to find here it is the 7.71. This is the 7.71, and from this value you have to compare. So I have computed as a 7.71, and if we compare from this F value, it is the 2.43 and it is the 7.71. If the F value has the more than this standard, then it has the significant effect. Otherwise, it has the no significant effect over the output. So from this table we can conclude that temperature and the pressure has not significant effect on the yield. However, their interaction is the 20.18, has more than 7.71. So so the interaction has a significant effect over the output. दोनों क्या है, टेम्परेचर और प्रेशर जो है वो क्या है, वो उनका इफेक्ट सिग्निफिकेंटली इफेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं आउटपुट को, लेकिन जब दोनों को कंबाइन करते हैं, दोनों का इंटरेक्टिव इफेक्ट देखते हैं, तो इट हैज द मोर इफेक्ट. Am I clear or not? So on the basis of that we can conclude that अगर F वैल्यू की जो कंप्यूटेड है वो ज्यादा होगी एज कंपेयर टू द